What's going on, everyone? This is Creator here, and welcome to This Week in Universe, where I tell you everything that you need to know to happen this week on Raw, Smackdown, and 205 Live. And we're kicking off with the fallout of Great Balls of Fire, as you see, the Universal Champion is back. The Beast Incarnate, the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar is back on Monday Night Raw. The reason why he was away, well, he was waiting. He was waiting to see who would be next in line for his Universal Championship. And we found out at Great Balls of Fire in a fatal four-way match which featured Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, and the phenomenal AJ Styles in a fatal four-way match to determine who will be facing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And as we all found out, the Kingslayer, Seth Rollins, was victorious. And now he's facing Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. But that didn't stop Paul Heyman from taking a little bit of shots at Seth Rollins, because he brought up the fact that Brock Lesnar has some unfinished business with Seth Rollins. He did not forget a couple years ago that Seth Rollins was the one who cost him his WWE Championship at the time at WrestleMania, and he never truly got his rematch due to other circumstances happening around the scene. But now, at SummerSlam, there will be no hiding from the Universal Champion. This brought out Seth Rollins, and he did admit that, yes, I was a different person back then. I used to be hiding from the Authority. I used to just hide from, like, they pretty much gave me everything. But he's a different person now, and he has nobody to stop him from doing what he wants to do. He wants to do one thing, and that's bring the Universal Championship back to Monday Night Raw. And so everybody would have a chance for the title, because, as we know, Brock Lesnar's current contract only allows him to show up a certain amount of times. That was until Eric Bischoff, before the situation got even worse between Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. Seth Rollins was about to confront Brock Lesnar, but Eric Bischoff, general manager, said, hey, we cannot have that. This match at SummerSlam is our biggest main event, and it's the first tri-branded pay-per-view between Raw, SmackDown, and 205 Live. And he does not want his main event wasted here on Monday Night Raw. He has to save it for SummerSlam, so Seth Rollins unfortunately agreed. Also on Monday Night Raw, guys, we saw the brand new Raw Tag Team Champions, The Bar, in action for the first time since Great Balls of Fire after beating Breezango, Tyler Breeze, and Fandango. They took on the debuting Heath Slater and Rhino, coming from SmackDown Live to Monday Night Raw thanks to the Superstars shakeup. First time Heath Slater and Rhino were in action, and boy, it was a very competitive match, especially something I wanted to talk about that happened at the very end, which was very controversial. I mean, it was a very competitive tag team match, possibly one of the matches of the night on this show. But before that, I just want to bring up to the fact that Breezango, even though they lost, they're still contractually obligated to have a Raw Tag Team Championship rematch. And we saw previously in the Fashion Files that episode, they're trying to find a stipulation, as the general manager allowed them to have one stipulation that they can have for the rematch for the Raw Tag Team title. We don't know what it is yet. Hopefully the mystery will be solved. But again, this tag team match was very competitive. And look at this though. See that? Sheamus' hand is right under the rope, but the referee did not see it. But because of that, the referee decision is final, and Heath Slater and Rhino was victorious. We also saw Monday Night Raw, possibly one of the most bizarre and interesting segments we have seen on this show just far. Baron Corbin, which he promised this was going to be a memorial service. We thought it was for him, but it turned out to be for someone else instead. And that man is Braun Strowman. I mean, for some reason, Baron Corbin thought it would have been a good idea to poke the bear, or in this case, poke the monster. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, this was clearly just his opportunity to take jabs at Braun Strowman. If you guys recall, on the very first episode here on Monday Night Raw, when Baron Corbin made his debut, the first person he confronted was the monster among men, Braun Strowman. And while they really haven't crossed paths since then, we knew something was building up between the two, and it was obvious with this segment, as Baron Corbin pretty much buried Braun Strowman, saying he hasn't accomplished anything since he came to Monday Night Raw, and the little kids have nothing to worry about, because they have a new Titan here on Monday Night Raw that they can look up to, because of the countless failures that Braun Strowman has occurred here on Monday Night Raw. It's time for someone else new that they can look up to. Someone that they can be proud of, and that someone is Baron Corbin. As we obviously know, Braun Strowman did not take that lightly, and he quickly ran to the ring. And as quickly as he ran to the ring, is as quickly Baron Corbin got out of that ring, because he wanted nothing to do with Braun Strowman. However, he left his... I still don't know who that person was. I'm assuming he was the morgue or the pastor. I have no idea, but Braun Strowman didn't care either. He power slammed him. He didn't power slam him not once. He power slammed him a couple times. Let's say 3. And at the end of the day, Braun Strowman now has his sights on that man, Baron Corbin. Again, Corbin, I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know why he thought it was a good idea to tackle the monster among men, but now he has his sights set on you, and he will not be done with you until you finally get these hands. But also, guys, on Monday Night Raw, it was our main event of the evening, as Tamina, for the first time in her career, I should say, was competing for the Raw Women's Championship, when she took on the reigning champion, Alicia Fox, for the Raw Women's title. This will mark the first time since Extreme Rules that Alicia Fox will be defending her Raw Women's Championship. The reason for that, because her original contender, Paige, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, had to retire, and we were waiting until Great Balls of Fire to find out who's the next challenger for her Raw Women's Championship. However, at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view in the 6-woman battle royal, it turned out to be Tamina, as she eliminated 5 other superstars. However, it didn't matter, as Alicia Fox was able to get the victory over Tamina. But the real story happens right after the match, as Alicia Fox did not care, and she continued her assault on the challenger. And we thought things were going south from there, but look who stood right there in the entrance ramp, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch has had enough, and she has seen enough of what Alicia Fox was doing. She deeply stared down the champion, and Alicia Fox wanted nothing to do with Becky Lynch. She quickly hurried to the top of the entrance ramp, and it's clearly obvious that Becky Lynch has her sights on Alicia Fox and the Raw Women's Championship now. We're going to be switching gears to SmackDown Live, and for SmackDown Live, even though Raw is on the road to SummerSlam, SmackDown Live will eventually get to that road. But first, they have to get through their own pay-per-view, which is the SmackDown Live exclusive pay-per-view, Battleground. And one of the key matches going to be happening at the event is going to be a SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match. However, the Benjamin and Gable are currently waiting for their challengers, so General Manager Shane McMahon had decided to make a SmackDown Tag Team tournament, and the winners of this tournament will be going on to face Benjamin and Gable for the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles at Battleground. We already know the New Day advanced because they were able to defeat the debuting Sanity. But in this night, this past week on SmackDown Live, it was now the Revival's turn to take on the Usos, a former SmackDown Tag Team champion. The Usos were relentless. They were not going to let this opportunity pass them. They wanted their rematch for the SmackDown Live Tag Team title. And sure enough, they was able to beat the Revival. What happened after the match is a telling story, as the Usos decided to, I guess, change their personalities a little bit to benefit them. They viciously attacked the Revival, even though they already won the match. And I guess with a newfound attitude, they want nothing more is to regain their SmackDown Tag Team titles and be on top of the SmackDown Tag Team division once again. I mean, we'll have to find out if they advance in the finals of the tournament. Also on SmackDown Live, guys, we saw a very, very good documentary featuring the glorious one himself, Rude, as we were going through his entire career here in WWE thus far, as he's preparing for the biggest match of his career, as he be taking on Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship at Battleground. It's a very good documentary, and I suggest you all take a look at that. But also, guys, as an announcement I can exclusively make right here, that at Battleground, due to the events that's been happening thus far between all 4 of these competitors, the Boston Hut Connection, Sasha Banks and Bayley, will be teaming up to take on the team of Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. It should be one hell of a tag team match, and exclusive news that you found right here on This Week in Universe Mode. Also switching gears to SmackDown Live yet again to something that happened earlier before the show you went on the air, is that Asuka was talking to Naomi. As you know, Asuka is currently the SmackDown Women's Champion. That's the great match that they had between the two last week. Naomi was just basically telling her that, hey, anytime, any place, I have no problem facing you again. That wasn't until Charlotte decided to come and say, hey, like, this is the loser club, basically. I beat you, Naomi, so many times, and Asuka, you're just holding my championship for me until Battleground. And that prompted Naomi to quickly confront Charlotte and say, if you want to put your money where your mouth is, basically, that next week you and her can go one-on-one, and we'll see who is the loser after this. And Charlotte, I guess, promptly agreed and said, we'll see you next week, and told Asuka to hold on to her championship until Battleground. We also saw in our main event Nakamura become the brand new #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship after he had a grueling Fatal 4-Way match which featured the return of Daniel Bryan, The Big Show, and SmackDown's newest superstar, Dolph Ziggler. And you saw what Miz's face in fear. He now knows at Battleground he has a tall task ahead of him, as he'll be defending his Intercontinental Championship against the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura. There's sure to be one hell of an interesting match. Nakamura is back in title contention. Now for the WWE title that he holds near and dear to his heart in Japan, he could finally win the American version of that, the Intercontinental title. All takes place at the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view Battleground. But now switching gears to 205 Live, as we saw with Noam Dar losing to Mark Andrews yet again, that prompted Noam Dar to be confronted by TJP yet again. And as you see with this backstage segment, after Noam Dar has been tired of freaking TJP belittling him and to keep losing, he had no problem attacking backstage. TJP won a Cruiserweight Championship opportunity. He was going to ask the general manager about that, but Noam Dar basically said, hey, if you want a shot at the title, I have no problem giving it to you next week. And also, guys, we can't forget, as was formally announced this past week, that one of the newest superstars coming to 205 Live, possibly the greatest cruiserweight of all time, Rey Mysterio, is coming to 205 Live. Well, guys, now we've reached the point in the segment where we talk about my favorite thing of the week, the ratings war. Who had the best viewership between Raw, SmackDown Live, and 205 Live? Let's find out for week 1, and as you see with this chart is pretty telling. First things first, as you see on your left, you see the chart of the ratings. See on the right who had the viewership. And coming in first place, shockingly, is SmackDown Live with 89 viewership during its first day being aired. And also on 205 Live, right behind it, is 88 with just one viewer off for tying SmackDown Live. Now, I think the telling part of it is that Monday Night Raw actually ranked 3rd this week. So Monday Night Raw is going to have to pick up the pace here if they want to beat SmackDown Live next week in the ratings. And now, guys, it's time for our fan of the week, the one who is most interactive during this week's Universe Mode. I have to give it to Mario is the Boss. He was the most interactive with over 50 comments on just the SmackDown Live episode in general. You see some of his highlighted comments saying that Fatal 4-Way match was pretty much as good as the AJ and Sami Zayn match from Extreme Rules. So thank you, Mario is the Boss, for being the fan of the week. If you want to be the fan of the week for this week in Universe Mode, all you have to do is be the most interactive throughout all 3 shows, Raw, SmackDown, or 205 Live. I count all the comments, and at the end of the week, I decide where was the most interactive between all 3 shows or just one show in general, because Mario the Boss only had 50 comments in one episode, and he did it. So you want to become a fan of me to be the most interactive throughout all 3 shows. Well, guys, next week on Monday Night Raw, the action picks up as the road to SummerSlam continues as Dana Brooke has a mysterious partner to take on the Riot Squad. Breezango will be taking on Slater and Rhino after a huge victory against the Bar. And then our main event, Seth Rollins. You know, his SummerSlam detour is happy because of Brothers and Brothers. He'll be facing Harper next week. Switching gears to SmackDown Live, WWE Champion Jinder Mahal is in action, faces Jack Gallagher in his final match before moving to 205 Live. Charlotte Flair will be taking on Naomi. Sure to be one hell of an interesting match after that backstage altercation. And also, the Tag Team Tournament Finals as the New Day be taking on the Usos. And then switching gears to 205 Live, Grand Metalik will be taking on Drew Gulak after the debut of Lucha House Party failing. And then our main event of 205 Live, the Cruiserweight title, Noam Dar, TJP for the Cruiserweight Championship. All that and more is happening this week on Universe Mode. Thank you guys for watching.